Welcome to the Two Literal Podcast, where we're talking all things fantasy, romantasy, romance, and dark romance books. It could be the latest releases, timeless classics, book news, and anything in between. So grab a drink, some snacks, maybe a book, and if we're live, a phone to call in, because Two Literal is on. Welcome back to another episode of Two Literal Podcast. I am Ricki.
I am Tashee.
I'm Jazz.
We are back with another episode. We will be discussing Zodiac Academy 5, but first, I wanted to get into something I'm super excited about, kind of because it was really a surprise. I had no idea. So I went to San Diego to see a friend of mine. Her name is Anita. We've been friends for like 20 years now.
I love Anita.
And so when I was going down there, she was very hush about anything that we were going to do. She's lived there now. Oh, I think she's going on 10 years, Tashee.
Yeah, it's getting close to 10.
So she's very hush about what we were going to do. It turns out they were having a big book like fair right around the corner from her house. So I'm super excited. Oh, yeah, obviously, I was like, you know, it's funny. Anita ended up with more books than I did because I only packed a carry-on luggage. I didn't pack a check bag to bring stuff back.
I'm curious, so does Anita read what we read?
No, and I was going to talk about that. So the book fair was on the corner of Verbatim Books. If anybody lives in San Diego, California, there's a bookshop there called Verbatim. Super cute bookstore. This was their back wall that I thought just was really cool. And I'm curious to know, are those books like actually for sale? Like, do they have to replace them sometimes? Or
what if they're blocks like, and they're like painted?
Yeah, I didn't get close enough to figure that part out. It was a super cute bookstore. I don't think I ended up buying anything from there because by that point I already had like a cart full that I was going to have to try to fit into this carry-on luggage. So tip, if you're ever traveling, you need to pack like a tote or a flat bag or something because you never know what you're going to come back with. And basically what I ended up doing is having a tote full of stuff that I would have put like in a backpack or something. And my backpack ended up being my carry-on, and I checked this bag. So it was like a whole thing. So this was like 2 or 3 blocks worth of different vendors and different authors, different bookstores, different libraries that they have selling like used books. Even cookbooks like from people's houses that like their grandparents may have sold in an estate sale or, you know, anything. It was very cool. So ran into some authors. First one that ran into was Allie Stern, who does dark romance, but she explained it to me like it's more, I believe she was the one that it's not super, super dark like some of the ones that we have read. So I'm excited. I told her that I would look into some of her stuff. She was selling some of their books, and also I can't remember if her books or if it was Cynthia Diamond was another one. One of the two of those had picture inserts in their books. Both of them were like paranormal to dark romance writers. And so, Tashee, to your point, she had picture inserts. Whoever, I can't remember which one it was. And if they watch this, I hope that they'll comment and say. But the picture insert was very spicy, like nothing blurred out or like anything.
The not safe for work or the NSFW work.
Yes. So she was like, all of my books come with these pictures. She held it up, and Anita got so red because I was like, you guys, I haven't converted her yet, so she's not used to this. So Allie Stern, Cynthia Diamond, the other author was Kay Riley, all of which, like I said, were fantasy and or dark romance writers, and super, super sweet ladies that we ran into. So I was excited about that. And then also ran into a cute book. She's not a writer. She sells book like accessories or merchandise. So her name is Mari, or Market by Mari. And like I bought 2 of these cups. I don't know if you guys can see the books and stuff all over them. I bought 2 of these from her, but she also sells like Kindle covers and stickers. Like I know Tashee used to have the stickers and stuff in yours, or the cutouts.
I still make my Kindle covers. I make them myself. Yeah. But I recently got some nice ones. Like one I have now says like stalker romance. It's like stalk me, but you know, like whatever. It's really nice. Morally great.
So And I like this because I think I spent $10 on these, and then you get to choose a glass. So in California, they're very conscious of like the environment and things of that nature. So you get to choose like the glass straws that go with it and stuff like that. If you want to color match or if you want to do mix and match and things of that nature. So we'll be buying from her again. I was super excited to.
We have to convert Anita. Like, I guess we should do a series and have her on like we did Jazz, so we can convince Anita to read with us.
And you know what's crazy? She was one of the very heavily invested Harry Potter readers. And I feel like naturally Harry Potter readers eventually turn into like ACOTAR type. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
like some of the stuff that we read.
I think I've told you like the first fantasy series I read was the Succubus Blues series with the lady. Fun fact, I've been posting in one of the subscription groups, Arcane specifically. Every month I have been posting like, hey, I got a suggestion for a book series. You should do this one. I post it all the time. And I even tagged the owner because she should know that this is a great series. This month, guys, I was like, new month, same request. And she was like, dude, I'm going to try, but no promises. So tell Anita that's a good place to start. And they're about to have a special edition. So
yeah. I'm going to have to start her with something. And the same thing with my sister. My sister is more of a young adult reader. She doesn't get all the way like spicy. But even some of the young adult stuff, like we tried to get her, to me, Fourth Wing is not super, super spicy. So me and her coworker have been trying to get, and even the same thing with ACOTAR. People say that it is. It's like 2 scenes in the whole series, and it's 5 books. So,
do you think it's super spicy, Jess? You think Fourth Wing?
No.
In comparison,
no.
Yeah,
it's pretty light work. Maybe if your sister is less on that and she likes more of the YA thing, I really like the Letters of Enchantment duet, Divine Rivals. Really cute story. They're like Fade to Black.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to, because the stuff that Nita bought was more like, and I bought one too, so I'm not saying anything about her, but full like William Shakespeare collection and things like that. So, but she walked out with so many books. I wish I had uploaded that picture to show you guys. But we were supposed to actually drive up to Santa Monica while we were there that day, Tashee, and Santa Monica is like a 2-hour drive, I think, 1.5 2 hours from San Diego. We didn't even get to go because we stayed at this book fair for like the whole first half of the day. So we ended up just going to brunch and finding some other beaches to go to.
I'm kind of jealous. I wish I would have went with you. Next time you should consider putting me in your carry-on.
I know.
You should consider, taking me with you.
It was a good time. I was only there. So I got there Thursday. I left Sunday morning. So I was only there for a couple of days. We did so much within those couple of days. And then I feel like there were some unexpected things. Like I said, like the book fair, I had no idea what's going on. And I don't think she knew that it was as big of an event as what it was, because they didn't only have book stuff there. They also had people that had like record shops and things like that. So I'm like, well, now I know when to come every year.
For sure.
If this is going to be an every year thing. So it was super nice.
We got to convince Jazz and get her over to like a book fair or book event, because she's the only one who has not had one. I want to say misses, because that's not fair. You didn't know that they were a thing, so you can't miss what you don't know about, But I think Jazz needs to get one. I think we're looking at that Dallas Inc. one or whatever, waiting for their tickets. Yeah. It goes. The tickets go on sale in March, and it'll be here. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of people.
We have one coming up, and it's with the local library. So if you guys that are listening don't necessarily want to pay for, and this actually, the one I went to was a free event. You just bought stuff from the vendors. But if you're looking for free events like that, I would follow a lot of the local libraries, because what they'll do if they're over capacity or have a lot of donations or whatever the case may be, they'll have these type of events. And the books there, I mean, a lot of the books we got were under $5 for
great.
Actual stuff that's popular. So we have our local library is actually about to have one, and all of the books are either $1 for paperbacks and $2 for hard covers. It'll be coming up here soon. It's a whole weekend of just being able to scramble through that stuff. I want to say it's the 14th, weekend of the 14th.
Okay, that's next weekend. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool beans. I'm glad that you got to see Anita. I know you guys don't get to see each other enough, so that's pretty dope.
No.
I'm also glad that
Yeah.
you got to do book things. I'm always glad for book things. So.
Yeah. It was a good time. So the second part that I wanted to highlight is we got chosen for another ARC read. So I'm super excited about that. It's called A Series of Sharp Edges. This is book 1. It'll be Water's Edge by Ash Red. And I believe that this is a dark romance. I'm not sure how dark we're going to get, but this will be released around mid-November. So I think coming up this next week or so, you'll be able to get that off Kindle.
Yeah.
I don't know if the hardback is available yet, but I know that the Kindle version will be available.
I'm pretty sure we'll be getting Kindle versions. We'll also be able to check, I think, for the when it releases what the hardback looks like, just on the regular Kindle page. But I'm excited. Yeah. I think this is our first, this is our first dark romance. So we've had one fantasy and one dark romance. Big things.
Yeah.
We
I'm
make it
excited about
waves.
that. So we'll likely be, even if it's on our own personal pages, just telling our what we've thought about this one, but I'm excited to get into it.
I'm excited too. All right, so I think we're on book 5 now, and Jazz is in love with Halo.
So we're on Cursed Fates. And so we pick up at the end of book 4, where we had 2 huge cliffhangers with Orion and Darcy, and then with Tory and Darius, and they're having their divine moment. So going into this, Jazz, I know that you talked about how, you were heartbroken when you read the end of that book with Orion. How did you feel going into this one and knowing what actually came of that? Because I feel like it picked up right away where we left off. Thankfully, it wasn't like a skip forward.
I was so happy that he was not dead because, like I said, I was gonna cry. I'm glad that he's alive. Like I said, I knew we should have freed Clara because that does cause more problems, and then she ended up went to Lionel.
Oh, I was about to say, escaping is not a fair word. Yeah, she ran directly to Lionel. She didn't escape. She caused mayhem.
She knew exactly where she was going.
And went and laid up with Daddy. Oh, it makes me mad every time she says it.
Yeah.
Everything about her it's like she gotta go. And it's just, we can't get a break. Like the twins can't get a break. Darius can't get a break. Orion can't get a break. I think I told you that too. I texted Tashee and I was like, dang, can nobody catch a break?
I would like to dog ear that again. For future reference.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like you make it worse when you point out the fact that more of that.
I know, it definitely does. You don't have to do that. Just move on.
I'm sorry. Not really.
I don't accept your apology.
I said I wasn't really sorry. I wouldn't accept it either. I feel like we saw it in book 4, but like the first steps into the new things or, things that become established later really, 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 really happened in this book. Like it's like the planting the seed, but this is like the budding of the flower, if you will, in relationships. But not even just, and when I say relationships, I don't mean specifically romantic. All relationships, kind of.
All of them, yeah.
I was going to say what, but that's not a question I want to ask anymore. I was going to say the most shocking part of where it starts is I literally didn't see Seth being a savior because Seth is really on the fence about his feelings for Darcy. It's somewhere between like, don't you want to be my friend, but ain't you in love with me? Mm-hmm. I think he kind of doesn't know sometimes what he's feeling in relation to her. I also find it very interesting that all the other heirs, like we talked about before, gravitate to Darcy, but Seth is gravitate to Tory, and Seth is infatuated, whether that be romantic or platonic, you'll never know. But he is infatuated with Darcy. Yeah. For some reason.
Max doesn't really gravitate to anybody, I don't think.
Who?
Out of
the 2 girls,
Max, yeah, out of the twins. I don't think he's kind of just there sometimes, because Tory has the thing with Caleb and with Darius, obviously, and then Darcy has the whatever with Seth, but Max is kind of just
Sniffing for Geraldine.
You're right. He loves some Geraldine.
I am glad that, and I think it was Max that came out and asked Seth, like, what is it about this? Because you don't really necessarily want to be with her. So why is it such a big deal that she doesn't want to be with you? You know? Or when he found out about her and Orion, like, why does this bother you so much? So I'm glad that they actually discussed the fact that it really wasn't about her as a person. It was just the prospect of having someone that couldn't match him because he doesn't feel fulfilled by any of the relationships he's had thus far.
Kylie.
Yeah.
She gotta go.
I was about to say, except don't even like you, Kylie. Sandy.
Oh.
I hate it every time she's Sandy. We grew up. We're basically together. Yo, he be sleeping with his pack every other night, and I don't mean they be eyes closed. That's not what they be doing.
Yeah. And I find it interesting that throughout him having a pack, and I'm sure he has a beta, because we saw that in Ruthless Boys with them having a beta or somebody that almost was there as far as their power was concerned. He still didn't feel like there was anybody that he would match with until we see Rosalie, I guess, that was even a potential for him. So I think that I was happy to get that's really what this is about, because I think all of us are wondering, like, what's this obsession? Like, why is it such a big obsession to you? Why are you still upset? Yeah. Because he wasn't only upset that he found out that, her and Orion were having sex. Then he was upset because he was like, love. Like, what do you mean? So I'm glad they had that conversation with him. And I'm glad all the heirs are opening up in this book, and you see more of their struggles that they've dealt with and them opening up to each other. But then we're seeing more, even without reading from their perspective, the awakening and stuff. So
yeah. And then with them opening up, like the fact that Tory was able to, like, make the dark version get out of
Catalina.
Yep. Darius's mom and
like the dresses.
And Xavier, right? Yeah. And then he was able to open up and tell them everything that, his dad has done and all the things. That was awesome.
And I just would like to revisit the fact that they kind of knew, but they didn't know. Like, it is interesting that the twins bring so much, like, light on how they're not as together or well off as they seem they are. Seem to think they are, because they can't say, hey, my daddy be kicking my ass in the corner. Like that can't come out or whatever. But I think specifically for the heirs, and we can include Lance in there, I don't see, other than the way they make up in their head, how Darcy and Tory entering their life has been negative. I don't really see, other than them being challenged, but again, what's the whole, like, motto for everybody? They fight for what they want. They fight for their place. Like, if you're being honest, when they were heirs and Tory and Darcy didn't, quote unquote, exist, what were they fighting for?
Yeah.
They were basically willed their positions.
And I guess Darius was the only one that had something in the background that he was actually, like, the adversity that he was trying to overcome. Max,
his stepmom, Max's stepmom. Because remember, she was trying to set up Ellis in the background too.
But at this point, do you really think he felt that on the level that Darius felt that as it relates to trying to overthrow his father?
No, I don't mean it that way. I meant, like, that everybody had adversaries. That
adversity.
There you go. That word.
Yeah.
Everybody had one. I just don't think everybody was shining a light on what that looked like. Like, they probably acknowledged that Max had tension with his stepmom, but the reasons why they probably never understood. Oh, they just don't like each other. Dang, why does mama treat him like that? Not realizing that it's actually his stepmom and he's half, and she wants her kid over him. Or even the stuff with Darius, they probably like, dang, his daddy's strict. Not realizing that it's more than that. But I would argue Seth and Caleb have a cushier life because they actually have two parents that love them.
Yeah. And I was excited that moment at King's Hollow when they actually all shared stuff, because I agree with you that I feel like Tory and Darcy kind of were the catalyst to those things coming out. But I appreciate that the authors gave them that moment alone, like to themselves, to really deal with that stuff, because those are the closest people they have to each other at this point, besides Darius and his brother. I mean, well, they're siblings in most cases.
The spares.
Yeah. I feel like that was the only time that we get to see, that was one of the only times that we get to see them really opening up to each other without somebody else interfering, you know?
Yeah, I did like that moment. They were like, everybody just share a secret.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that one.
And okay, does anybody else want to know what the nipple thing is?
Huh?
With Seth?
What nipple thing?
So, okay, when they're sitting at King's Hollow and they're sharing secrets, Seth was like, well, I feel bad because everybody else is like sharing big stuff. And the only thing I have to share is that I tried the nipple thing again. And so my mind automatically went to like puppies and like nursing and suckling and stuff. Because he's a werewolf.
Anything is possible, man.
That's valid.
He could have been out here like, yeah, you know, dragons. Like, he could be messing with them other nipples. You know what? Speaking of weird sexual things, my favorite people popped up this book, I think. Didn't they?
The Kiplings.
Yes, the Kiplings.
Yes, later on.
My gosh. Guys, can I tell you, I was like, they're lawyers? What?
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody recalls the Kiplings, but let's jog your memory. If you remember in books ago, specifically for Ruthless Boys, Elise worked for the Kiplings, and they were three brothers. They're all Griffins. They actually contribute they see to Dante so he can make babies with some random lady that ain't Elise right now. But also they have weird things that they into. So one of them likes to sleep with cakes, but not donuts, because they just giving it up to everybody. They're whores. Holes, if you will. Holes. One of them likes hairy men. Am I right on this?
Yes, but I did not get that until this reread. I actually thought all of them liked inanimate objects.
No, one of them likes really gruffy, hairy men. Really, and I forgot what the third one was.
I forget. It's one of the. I think it's Pegasus in their in their form.
In their shifted form.
Yeah.
Something
I think that's
outrageous.
Pegasus in their shifted. We're gonna dog your Pegasus in their shifted form too, for a later date at a later time. But I really don't feel like that's a later date, later time thing, because it happened in Ruthless Boys, Jess.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. But dog year. Yeah. So that was one of my favorite things. But I like seeing the Kiplings. I just don't like why they were there.
Yeah. So Jazz, because this is your first time reading, who did you think it was that set Orion and Darcy up before it was revealed in court?
Who did I think it was?
You blame Seth. Because
everybody assumed it was Seth because of his
I don't think I assumed
obsession.
it was Seth, though. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't know why I didn't think it was. But who did I think it was? I don't know.
It was Cindy Boo's.
Okay, maybe I thought it was one of the other heirs. I thought one of them may have found out and then snitched. But that didn't make sense either.
I was about to say, it was Cindy Poo's carbon copy. Kylie.
Gosh, she
can't stand her.
I was so mad when she showed her face in the courtroom and was like, bro, all because she thought that Seth and Darcy were, but like after she found out, why does she have to tell anybody anything? Like, why couldn't she have just shut up? You know, like she could have just blackmailed them. Yeah. Why does she have to?
It doesn't make sense though. She thought Darcy and Seth were together, so she went and told on Darcy for being with somebody else. Like, girl, use your head for more than a hat rack.
She's so annoying.
It's giving jealous. It's giving you never want to be with them. But Kylie was never a likable character, but it is interesting to watch her further cement the dislike of her. Ugh. As we read on in the books.
But then when
Yeah.
Go ahead. When they had all like came together and they were like, Kylie doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
We don't talk to Kylie. I liked that moment.
Sethy!
Yeah.
Somebody talking? I can't hear you.
Okay, was it there was a moment when they were in, I want to say not Orion, Noxie. When they were in his class, tarot class, and Tory got partnered with either Kylie or Marjorie.
Yeah.
I'm saying her name correct.
I always want to call her Margarita.
Which one was it that she got paired with? Because
She
I
was
know that
Marguerite.
both of them we don't like, but I kind of felt bad for her in that moment because
It's probably Marguerite.
the whole dream thing. Yeah.
Yeah, she was with Marguerite, and then Kylie was with Darcy.
Because I'm pretty
Gotcha.
sure that's when Kylie kind of confessed part of her like dislike is because she acknowledges that Darcy is what Seth would be attracted to in a lot of ways. And Kylie's not that.
Oh.
For lack of a better term.
Yeah.
She ain't enough.
I can
She's
say
not
that
one
as
man.
much as I don't like either of their characters, I felt for them because I felt like that was a moment that made them seem more not human because they're fae, but make them seem more like a regular person and not just an antagonist in the story.
But I also want to kind of argue that Marguerite is not as grating as Kylie is. And maybe it's because we have more interactions with her, but Marguerite's jealousy does feel like it stems from like hurt feelings, whereas Kylie is just a mean girl. It's different. Like Marguerite I feel like always kind of knew that she might not be accepted. Mm-hmm. And just even where she was like, yes, okay, this might be going good. And then Tory shows up and it's like, what?
Yeah.
You don't even like him. I like him. Whereas Kylie does everything in her power to kind of further cement in her head that they're meant to be. Like, we grew up down the street together. This was inevitable anyway. Look, I'm helping him pick on the girl that he said pick on. That's funny. They look like they flirting, but he's doing this with me, so he wants to be like. She could make. It's an unfortunate truth for women that some of us are able to make anything a sign, no matter if it's a warning.
I do feel like Kylie not only tries to bump heads with Darcy as it relates to Seth. I feel like she just wants her to lose in every situation because she'll be in class and like tattling on her about using her phone or whatever the case may be. It has nothing to do with it. Seth is even in the proximity, to your point. So I agree with that.
Yeah. It's not about Kylie anymore. What's her name? I forgot her name because she's just so annoying. But Darius's fiance, she's now at the school.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Insane.
What is her name?
I'm having such a brain fart.
See?
Do you guys imagine her? It's like how they used to draw old witches with like a big mole with hair coming out. I can't think of her name either.
And like big and muscular. I forgot her name. Dang, we can't see. This happened last time.
I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, we'll come back to that, but we'll find it. But yeah, she's like, because then how do you make? Okay, everybody at this point knows that he was destined to be with somebody else. Mm-hmm. How do you turn that into, but we're still destined to be together? And I know that obviously with Ruthless Boys, we've seen that be the case where they have multiple mates. But this person tried to make it seem like, but I'm his only true mate. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where we've seen that he has at least one true mate already.
Yeah, that's not going to happen in this book. I don't think that there's going to be a multiple mate situation. I don't want there to be a multiple mate situation.
Is that a spoiler if we say whether yay or nay on that?
Well, no. It's yes.
I think that's a spoiler. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
What? I missed it. What did she say? I was Googling.
She said that she doesn't think that there will be a multiple mate situation in this series.
Who would it be?
And I said, is it a spoiler if we reveal if there's a multiple mate situation?
When you say multiple mate, do you mean multiple fated mates?
Yes.
There is no. None I can think of. Unless you go back to Ruthless Boys. Unless you go.
No, just this series. I just didn't know if we should say yay or nay, or if we should let her see.
You know what? You might as well just say.
Well, she said now. No, no. Everybody here has one fated mate.
What was that?
That we find
What was that, Tashee?
Huh?
What was that?
I'm sorry, I don't know. You're breaking up again. Okay. Not both episodes.
Okay. All right.
Mildred. That's that lady's name.
Mildred.
That is her
Mildred.
name.
Yes. Yeah, I don't like the fact that or I didn't understand her reasoning behind trying to insinuate that we obviously see that he has one fated mate, whether they chose to be together or not. But she acts like she's the only one that's fated to be with him because of this arranged marriage and the fact that they're not only cousins, but like close cousins, like
Gross.
first or second cousins.
Disgusting.
So it's just very strange.
Yeah.
I don't understand where the confidence comes from. Okay. Just want to point out, like, the whole description, it has to be just because she's a dragon, right?
Yeah. I think they've made
Like
them up
it-
to be like, yeah.
That has to be the whole crux of it. I feel like this book in particular, and I'm sorry to kind of spoil this for you, Jazz, is the beginning of the hardest parts of the whole series. Like, it's a lot of like, like, you know, like
No.
everything falling.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I don't need
Because, okay, so we see that Orion and Darcy got caught. And it was right after a beautiful moment between them. So they get caught. He goes to jail. Not only does he go to jail, but then he like takes all the blame of Darcy. So he gets like, what, 25 years in Darkmoor or something.
And
where
power
it could have
shamed. We
gone-
cannot forget
Yeah.
power shamed, because that's a big deal from here on out. Power
It's so
shamed.
sad. Like, Orion was such a big character. Now he's in jail. Are you serious?
Yeah.
That was so sad.
And
But
now,
in jail.
okay, I did not, on my initial read, Tashee, I didn't get that they were introducing Darkmoor. It was almost like a pilot
Yes.
type of situation. So we get to see some of the gangs and like stuff like that. So I don't know if
Mhm.
you've read Darkmoor, Jazz, yet.
She hasn't.
Or,
She
Okay.
hasn't.
so I like that they introduced that in this. I didn't get it the first time around, but
Well, that means you got to see people from Ruthless Boys. Who did you note, Jazz?
There was Ethan Shadowbrook, Rory, obviously.
Mhm.
Who else is in there? Wait, there's like two other. No, wait, that one. There's some other gang people in there though.
Yeah.
No, one other gang person.
I think those were the only two from Ruthless Boys, though. I could be wrong.
Oh,
in
I don't know.
Darkmoor, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and-
those are the two that I know.
But we do see Dante. We get to see his kids and the baby mama.
We do.
Juniper, ain't that her name? Juniper. I always remember her name because
Yeah, she's in this one.
I would just like to know too that Juniper, I think, might be a victim too.
No, I agree.
How did we get here?
Huh?
How did we get here?
What do you mean?
To the kids.
You don't know how the kids were made? That's what we were just talking about. Dante's
From
been
Ruthless
using.
Boys?
Yeah,
Oh,
remember he was been using.
I remember now.
Yeah,
Are there three of them?
yeah.
Yes.
He been using the Kiplings.
I do remember now. Okay. Now I'm caught up.
So now the kids are what, preteens at this point, and Dante doesn't even know their names. He
That was
keeps calling them different names, and I don't like that they made Dante out to be like a bummy dad. And everybody knows the story because they know that Dante is married, so they know that Lionel has made him father these children.
Mhm.
But they try to make him be a bummy dad, not knowing. I mean, we know, the situation and how they came about, but
And I also don't think I think he probably thinks Juniper is like willing or whatever too. So maybe that's why he's so far removed from it. But
Yeah.
overall, I just personally don't see Dante being that removed from the kids because they're innocent. Like
Yeah.
they were forced to be here, literally
yeah.
forced to be here. Like,
And that
So-
leaves me questioning, like, who is actually raising them, because heaven forbid they've been living under Lionel this whole time,
they haven't. Jenkins would have snitched by now about Dante's setup.
Yeah.
Jenkins would have told.
Cut it off.
Another thing that happened is we found out that Diego's a nymph. Were you prepared for that,
Where did
Jess?
that come from? How? I'm so thrown off. I was like, excuse me? I was like,
Yeah.
one of them is fighting Clara. Why is he fighting back? What? Why is a nymph trying to be good? Diego? Why?
So
How?
when I read this, I'm so glad to speak to people who have read it as well. I don't know how I felt about Diego dying. Like death? Like it felt like he was an important bridge, but like there he go dead. You know, like
I mean, I didn't feel too crazy about his death, but why is he a nymph? Why? I feel like we need to get more into that. I need more about that. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess everybody was saying like he was super different. Like even as a kid, like his family would like always talk about how different he was and how he was just weird. But like, you know, kids are different sometimes.
But also that Diego, one thing that he contributes to the plot for certain is that now we have to question what we know about nymphs, how we've decided nymphs interact with the world, and if they are just doing what they need to do to survive. Very much like how if a bear was hungry and you were the only thing to eat, they would eat you, but otherwise they would go look for other food. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so are nymphs bad, or are they a victim of their circumstances? Because and their direct connection to the shadows.
Yeah.
So
how are they supposed to be born again? Like, how are they made? Aren't they made, not born? I think.
No, I think nymphs are like regular made, you know.
So we learn more about that jazz coming up, because we don't only figure out that Diego is a nymph, but I think we see another nymph like in their fae form. So I think that the fact that Diego was working against them brings into like, are these just regular people? Like, how all these questions that you're asking, I think everybody else in the book is also asking themselves, because they've only been taught one way. So I think that's cool to see, and it will come out. Yeah, it will come out in the future books throughout the series. You'll learn more about that.
Good.
So I thought the biggest thing about Diego dying, it wasn't so much that we were so hurt for Diego dying. I think we were so hurt for Darcy dealing with that death, in my opinion, and seeing how she reacted to it, and then also just the confusion, because everybody was confused. Like, where did this come? How did he even get here? You know, like he wasn't even in the group when they got here. So
yes, because my initial thought was he set her up. He set her up.
I thought that too.
When I read it the first time, I was like, he set her up. Needless to say, it was a bigger play at hand.
Yeah.
He didn't set her up. He really was like, hey, your sister got taken. We gotta make sure. He got set up to set them up.
Everything about that just made me so mad. Like, there's so much that happened in that like part, you know, like Diego died, Diego's a nymph. Darcy ended up burning the shadows like out of her finally. And then we get into the house. Tori is being tortured by Lionel. Lionel now has Clara. Then Darius gets into the house and more fighting happens. He almost killed him. And then Clara came.
There are things that I want to note this book that I feel like are important next book, just so we can all remember to talk about them. I think we can all argue that Clara's closeness or obsession, even with Lionel, is specifically because of the guardian bond. Yes. We even see how much it affects Lance and Darius. It makes me insanely uncomfortable that Lionel did that with Tori as like a way to get back with Darius. Or get back at Darius. Like, the amount of uncomfortable is kind of chilling. Like, I think for me, this cliffhanger was one of the ones that made me most like, like, you know, like, I'm not saying the other ones aren't bad or good or great cliffhangers, but this one made me uncomfortable because of all the possibilities of what could happen next book. Like,
dude,
how unsafe everybody is.
I'm like, I don't know if I can read. I don't want to continue reading. Like, that is insane. Why did he take Tori? Why is she a guardian now for him? He has Tori, Clara, like
Stella,
like it's all bad. Like, the twins are no longer like bonded like they need to be. Like, it's all so sad.
Plot point though was like, as somebody who really enjoys books and reads books, and you need like certain things to happen for certain relationships to form, specifically for Darius and Darcy, this is pretty much the only time they're going to be able to form a relationship or would need to form a relationship, because Darius's go-to of Lance is in jail. Darcy's go-to of Tory is confined. And that's both their significant others. So yeah, that would be. And the irony is like, think about how desperate you would be for your significant other to save you. And the reality is the person that's probably most capable of helping you is the friend or the other person that's not the significant other. Because example, Tory, the burning of the shadows, that's something Darcy figured out that Tory hasn't. Or just even like finding like money and political sways to have Darius and Lance get out of jail. So like, it's just interesting to me that like the necessity of their friendship is formed out of their relationships or the people they love romantically.
Yeah.
So we talked about a lot of the bad moments and the big, like mind-blowing moments that happened throughout this book, but I don't think we have talked about how Darius and Tory are working through their new reality and like the running together and the getting the coffee in the morning.
I love the running together. Or forget that, the texting each other, the literal learning of each other. The sending the nudie judies because I can't see you for real, but let me see you. Let me show you something real quick. They're cute.
No, yeah, I do love like that's one thing that like I'm okay with now. Like I hated it when it first happened, but like they are getting to know each other and like they're still star-crossed. And I'm really hoping, I don't know if it'll happen or not, but like I'm hoping that they can find a way to like, make that undo it, because like nobody said that like it's I mean they did say that like you can't do it, but like nobody's ever tried before, so like just do it. I'm really hoping that they can fix that, and I hope that the stars work their magic or whatever. And
we don't trust the stars.
I think that the ways. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the authors always say that they're the stars. And I just think that's funny because I'd be like, fuck the stars. But I just think it's funny that they call themselves the stars.
Yeah. I think that the theme of this is that it happens so little as far as people being star-crossed that they really don't know anything about it. I was going to say, I find it funny how the stars have tried to bring them apart in all the ways that they have. It was like a tree falling at one point. It was lightning. At one point, it was some drunk girl at a party. Like, there are just different ways when they come together that they try to just at least don't touch each other, and then the whole threesome situation.
Crazy.
I don't know if I would go to that extent to try to be
or
like,
is Caleb a good friend or is he a greedy friend?
And like with that, he didn't need to, because like, okay, the stars just
what he did made sense, because if it was just them down there, the stars probably would have did like an earthquake or something.
He could have been down there. I mean, he didn't have to
not participating.
He didn't have to be in there. Like he could have just,
I don't disagree
in the corner
with
on his phone or something.
He's not a watcher.
He could have been on his atlas.
Participation was needed from all members.
But Darius eventually asked him that, like, is this more for us or is this because you also still want her?
Yep.
So I'm glad they hashed that out and had that conversation when the stars finally found out that, hey, we caught you. We know what you're doing.
It's like, so we can't do that no more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And while they were upset about it, I think a part of Darius was like, whew, because I might have killed you, friend.
Yeah.
I might have killed you, friend. I love you, but nah, bro, not with her. Not her.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do love them, figuring each other out all over again. And not all over again, but like the right way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like seeing what they already knew. You know what I'm saying? Because we talked about it last time that Darius and Tory have both stated several times that, like, you're my perfect poison. Yeah. Like, if somebody wanted to catch me, and basically that's the type of candy you offer them to get them in your van. More or less.
And she made me so angry because then she's like, but why are you being so nice to me? And like tried to make him angry.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I see people do this in real life. Just let the person be nice. Like, I understand.
I think because she's had, specifically in their dynamic, I'm not speaking about everybody else. she's almost fallen victim to him being nice too many times.
Yeah.
Thinking things were going to be better. Like, you know, when they had their whole, like, the first time she met Lionel and the other parents. And it's like, oh, we're going to be nice for the night. But then it's like he kind of snaps out of it, too. Like, I can't do this forever. It's going to be a problem. And she's like, damn, we were almost there, but you got to go back to being who you are.
Yeah.
I think we haven't talked about this over the last few books, and I feel like it's important. All the press releases that go out about them that are crazy about how Darcy talks to birds and Tory sleeping with everybody and everything.
Hilarious.
But then how they spin it, I like them spinning it.
I did.
Kudos to Tyler's mom.
Yep. I did. One of the parts that I did really like was when Tory gave Darius, was it the bracelet? I think it was a bracelet, right?
Yeah.
And then that was also when they were all together up at the like parking garage, and like she was looking at her bike for the first time. I thought that was really cute. I love that moment.
Why did they exchange gifts again?
Well,
okay,
he
so
gave her the bike, and then
yeah, I know, but they're acting like it's Christmas. That's why I'm like, why did they exchange
but Tory
gifts?
said that basically, so this was right before summer. And Tory basically said that I didn't want you going back because she had already released Catalina and I think Xavier from the Dark Coercion. So he was the only one that she had not. Well, she had done so, but didn't want new ones coming back. And that basically she didn't want him to go for the summer without having that protection, and that's why she wanted to do it.
So she imbued it. Quick reference back to that. I also would like to note Gabriel's ring. I'm really happy that I feel like that kind of probably sparked the idea, and we didn't get enough of that, like being like probably you know, the tidbit, like this is something you can do, because you don't tell me that Gabriel didn't tell them I got a Phoenix ring and it kept me from having dark cloud. Yeah, he told him that. And it's
interesting to me that Gabriel didn't reveal. I know that, you know, as a seer, I assume you can't tell some things without trying to alter. It surprises me that we don't see more of him telling the things that he has seen, because we see some of those visions back in Ruthless Boys that he had that, you know, you don't know why he's having them unless you read this. And
they're nothing that like predicts the future more than like I see two Phoenix queens, like duh. Yeah. Or like princesses. It's not even queens because they just had a crown. We don't know what they are. I forgot to tell you guys last book, so I want to bring this up. When Gabriel was taking them to learn to fly, and he had like passed out the bra so they could have their wings out in the back, something was said, but Gabriel replied to Darcy in a way like, oh, what would be the problem with sleeping with your teacher? I love that Gabriel kind of like, because he kind of knows things, he kind of pokes at them with stuff like that, makes me go like, what? How you know, like they don't really acknowledge the full extent of his seer powers.
I was going to say, and I don't understand that because they know that he's a seer. So when he makes those little jokes, why is it not all automatic? Like, oh, you know.
What
like,
you know. Like, how much do you know? Like, well, tell me everything. Like,
that was a funny moment to me.
For sure. I'd be like, what you know? Tell me everything. You telling all my business. But what else are you guys kind of feeling about book 5? I know Jazz is ready to jump into book 6, but we're gonna have to like break up for all the important in between things.
I do like that when Tory went to go free Xavier from the Dark Coercion, she like, you know, pushed him out of a window and was like, hey, I'm gonna record you and everybody's gonna know now that you are Pegasus. And wait, was that the last book? That was the last book, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was book 4 or book 5, but yeah.
But I thought that was important. So I like it.
I really feel like she saved his life. But also, I feel like specifically for the last 2 books, but a lot in this book, I feel like part of the reason why Lionel had to make specifically Tory a guardian is because Tory would be the catalyst of too much change that would oppose him. She just would be. Just the way she handles things, like the way like we're gonna make it public that you're a Pegasus because that's great. When ultimately, if he stayed there any longer, Lionel likely would have killed him. Like if the hypnosis didn't go the way it was supposed to go, if he didn't control his order for long enough, if he sparkled a little bit, it was going to be a problem or whatever. So
Yeah.
I think Tori is the catalyst of too much, because I still maintain that I don't see all this fire in Darcy that Lance speaks about all the time. Not like, and that's not to say she's weak. I just don't see her as that's not a word I would use to describe her. Fiery.
Yeah.
It's just not a.
Maybe like now that her sister is with the enemy, maybe that'll like spark all that fire. I mean, like now that her and like all the heirs have like a pact to find like, what is it that they're looking for?
A way to break the curse for Darius and Tori.
And also the Imperial Star.
Yep, that. Yeah. Now that they all have like this the star bond together, not star bond. What is it called?
We're just gonna call them a group. The merry men.
Yeah. So now they're all together and like trying to figure it out, and they're all working together. I thought that was a pretty big moment. But it's crazy.
Not to be like, I'm not trying to spoil anything. I still don't think that Darcy would ever be considered fiery. Definitely strong. I still think strong is a good word, because she is. She pretty much has to be everything. While Tori is gone, I still would not characterize her as fiery. It's just reserved, because even when you get to next book, I'm not gonna lie to you, when you start reading 6, those first few chapters are very uncomfortable. Like, it's just uncomfortable. But Tori still maintains some of her, I don't know, brashness, I guess. Is the word you can use, but
she's
I just
still
wouldn't
fighting
ever
back in the way that she can.
But even when she's not fighting back, when she's fighting against the heirs and even Darcy, she still maintains that very bitchiness, like, for lack of a better term. Like, it's just, I feel like it's innate to Tori the same way being like softer and kinder is innate to Darcy. I just wouldn't ever characterize her as when everybody's like, they're just so fiery, I just don't see that for Darcy. I'm not saying she's not strong. And I say that as a Darcy hater.
We know you hate Darcy.
But I'm not calling her weak, and I'd rather she not burn me or nothing. Just don't like her.
So we are almost at time, but is there anything else like big that you guys saw? One of the only other things that I could think of is the fact that people do call Tori out on the fact that there were things that she missed when it comes to her relationship with Darius. Not only, I mean, her sister calls her out, Gabriel calls her out on it. Like, I know that you blame him for this, but take some responsibility yourself.
I feel like book 4 and 5, Tori had developed a bit of a victim complex. She had internalized being a victim in a way that was like devastatingly bad to her and Darius. I think it was good for her to have, which makes the ending of this book all the more like sad, because they were forming a relationship and kind of taking accountability for where they sucked. And trying to bridge gaps. Also, I know this is super duper random, but I never ever pictured Tori with long hair. She has like a bob in my head, and it's like super severe and like uber duper badass, even though I do think of Darcy with long hair, long blue hair. But like, I just see, I thought you weren't going to hurt yourself this time.
I'm so sorry.
Thought you weren't going to hurt yourself this time. But, whoa, that's
Tori
a good
with
one.
the bob.
But yeah, I always imagine Tori with a very sleek bob and just like gruffer, I don't know, like harder, make more edgy, just in general. Just because, motorcycles, leather jackets, her being upset about her boots burning. I was upset about her boots burning. How's she gonna drive a motorcycle? But I don't think I have more to add. Is there anything else that you guys remember that was important?
Not that I can think of.
So I think that is it. We are still trying to decide on where we want the next episode to go, because there are some novellas that we need to read in between and introduce you guys to, that introduces you to the boys' perspective. I mean, there's one on Lionel. There's some.
The one for Lionel is just, he has an introduction into all the little inserts, but a lot of them are things that we're going to have to read anyway. So I think we're gonna do Boys Perspective, Big Ass Party, and Origins of an Academy Bully.
When am I reading 6? I have this giant. Tory is with Lionel. When am I reading book 6?
Yeah. But there are some things in between that I haven't read the novella, so this will be my first time around. But there, from what I understand, there are some things in there that I feel like we need to see before going into what is now, because this is a big turning point in the story. Now, as we move on to 6, so
and also
next episodes we'll have some of those coming to you.
And also, I want to point out, Jazz, one of the stories we're going to read, you'll probably really enjoy. It's about their dad and their mom and how they met.
Okay. But I really want to know what's going on in book 6, guys.
We can't let you do that because what did you tell us? You almost forgot what happened in the other books.
But it's okay. I didn't forget. We're good. We're good.
You got to make notes, babe. Gotta make notes.
My notes are text messages.
Oh, that's good. Ricki, I'm excited for you to finish the Fire in the Flesh series, and hopefully by the time we record again, you can talk about it and let me know what you're thinking. Jess, I don't know what you're going to be reading in the meantime. I'm sorry, bud.
I'm going to read Butcher and Blackbird.
You already read Butcher and Blackbird. I think this one is, I don't even know what this one is called.
Leather and Lark.
Leather and Lark. Because I'm ready to say the other one, Scythe and Sparrow, and I knew that wasn't right, but Leather and Lark.
Mm-hmm. I'll read that.
Mm-hmm. And then what is coming out, obviously this won't be out by the time we next have an episode, but I'm excited for Onyx Storm, thank you. For the
Jazz is excited about it too, but it doesn't sound like she knows what it is. It's book 3 and 4th wing.
That's coming out here soon.
Yeah, I forgot all about that one. That was like the first.
Yeah, so we got like 2 months. There's a couple of other things I'm excited about. I know you guys haven't read the book of Azrael series. Pretty great. Read that when you get a chance. It's like 3 books, and the female character is the morally great character. Love that. And I'm certain you haven't finished it because you haven't told me. You have not finished Goldfinch, and I haven't either. We should probably finish that before the year is up.
Yeah, we'll have to talk because I did when it came out. So, and there's another book that I got at my San Diego fair that I do not remember the name of, but by next time I hope to have that to show you guys and tell you about too. But I have to physically read it because I bought the actual book. So
I'm sorry.
That'll be a while. So yeah, I'll get that for you guys. Well, okay. I'm excited.
I'm excited for all of the books too. I've been enjoying reading, if you couldn't tell.
Yes, Miss 25 books.
And Jazz, thank you again for. I'm excited, and so now these next couple episodes, I'll be on the same page as you because I haven't read these, so it'll be a first time for me too. So
I'm excited.
It's exciting. It's exciting. It is. But okay, guys. Ricki, you have anything to add?
I do not. I just thank you guys for reading along with us. Thanks for joining in. So next books that we'll be reading will be some of the novellas, and we'll try to make some posts that kind of help you to follow along with us. But as always, listen, subscribe, share, and follow along.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.